Tomorrow's technology today, securely wired to the cloud. Welcome to our Microsoft 365 training series. As a gold certified Microsoft partner, we will walk you through the latest updates, tips, and tricks for Microsoft products.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's our lunch and learn time, and today we are going to talk about SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams. Go-to combination for you guys to be productive and get things done together and collaborate well with your team. So without further ado, we like to keep these short, sweet, and to the point, especially since we're doing this at your lunchtime. So I'm going to turn it over to our specialist here, and that is Katie Kramer.
Thanks, Amy, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. So SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams, that's one of my favorite things to talk about because it's so useful to everyone at your organization. So we're just going to dive right in. So let's talk a little bit about when to use OneDrive. So OneDrive is built into Windows 10. It is used to save your files to the cloud. You can access it from any device, so that includes your mobile devices as well. So if you have a smartphone or a tablet that you want to use, you are able to install your Microsoft apps on up to 5 devices per your license. So if you are using your work subscription though, make sure that your company knows that you are putting it on your personal device, and then also make sure that you go through and follow your policy and make sure that you are keeping your data protected. Use a PIN on your device, make sure you keep it secure and keep it with you if you're going to do that, because once those documents get out, I mean, they can do anything with it. So you are also able to share with others, so you avoid sending copies of the same file, thus creating numerous copies of the same thing and having different versions of the same document. Everything is private, so you do control permissions and you're able to go in and see exactly who has access to that file. So basically, a lot of times we tell people OneDrive is just kind of like your own personal storage cloud. So it's not meant to share with everyone at the company, but you are able to share files and people can see what was shared with them. So we'll take a look at that in just a little bit. Recent document is on one device, is the same on every device. So it syncs up to the cloud and it repopulates down to everyone's device. Also, they have extended storage, so you get up to 1 terabyte, or let's say about 1 million documents per your OneDrive account. So SharePoint, on the other hand, is used to build intranet sites and create pages, document libraries, and lists. You can add web parts to customize your content, and we're going to take a look at ours in just a second here. But I also want to point out, so when I say web parts and it looks like a web page, that doesn't mean that people are going to be able to go out and look up your company and find your SharePoint site. Like, that's not how it works. You have to have the link and you have to have access and permission to be able to view it. So, and it's not going to show up in Google or anything like that. Like, so just want to make sure everybody understands that. You can also show important visual news and updates with a team or a communication site, and we'll talk about how to get those set up. You can discover, follow, search for sites, files, and people across your company. So if you are coming over from a file server, you want to make sure that you have someone who is a SharePoint admin. They do have special tools. You're going to want to create that index so that people are able to easily search those documents and be able to find things. You can manage your daily routine with workflows, forms, and lists. You can sync and store files in the cloud so anyone can securely work with you. So that's a cool part too about Microsoft 365 is you can use the online version or even the app if you want on your desktop, and you'll be able to see who is currently working within that file. So let's say you have a report or something like that that you really need to get out the door. So you can have as many people as you want in there editing that document, and it'll show like a little icon and also show like who is working where within that document. And you can also catch up on the news on the go with the mobile app. So again, you are able to get to it from your mobile device, which is really, really convenient. So let's just dive in here. So you have a couple different ways to get to it. So you can either go through File Explorer if you're already set up with SharePoint and OneDrive, or you can also go to office.com, get logged in with your Microsoft account, and that's what you're going to see on my screen right now. These are all the different apps that I have access to. So if I go in to either one of them, it doesn't matter if it's SharePoint, OneDrive, or Teams, it's going to open in the web browser view. And again, it's not out there to be public or anything like that. This is all very secure, so you don't have to worry about that. So if we take a look at OneDrive, so this is what OneDrive looks like in the web view. And as you can see, it looks exactly the same as what it does like on the old My PC, or like if you had like shortcuts or something to your desktop, sorry, for your documents, music, those kinds of things, like they're all listed here. So same thing for OneDrive. And the way that you're going to know if it's in OneDrive is it'll have like the different symbols and stuff in it if you're using the file explorer. So it'll show like a little cloud if the file currently resides in the cloud. You're able to sync that down and you can save it on your computer if you want. Just do a file save as, and that'll allow you to save it. If the file is located temporarily on the device, it'll have a little green check mark with a circle around it. Then if it is green with a white check mark, file resides in the cloud and permanently on the PC. If it's got the little blue arrows, that shows that the file is syncing, or if it's got the red X on it, that shows that the file needs help. It might be something as simple as if you recently moved in from a file server over to SharePoint, you just need to rename the file and maybe take out any kind of special characters or something like that. Typically, it doesn't really like those. So that's when it's going to throw a flag. I do want to note too, so a lot of people think about OneDrive as their backup solution. So we want to make it very clear that you still need to use a third-party backup solution. And that can be an external drive, it can be separate cloud storage. You want to make sure it's encrypted, of course. And of course, if you have an external drive, make sure that you keep it locked up, keep it secure. But yeah, just want to make sure people understand that just using OneDrive as your backup solution, like that's not a good idea, because if people hack into your Microsoft account, then that's a great way for them to be able to get your files, and then you're kind of out of luck. So whereas if you have the backup solution and you're doing routine backups, at least then you can go back and you can restore if you need to.
I
Somebody
have
has a
one
question?
question for you, Katie. Yes.
Yeah.
How do we know what apps we have access to? I know you had that bar there that showed all the apps. Can you tell them how they would know which of those they had access to?
Yeah, so if you just log into your Office account, and then if you go over to this little waffle, it'll show you that list over here, and you can click on the all apps. So that'll give you a nice list view, or you can also go to this screen and that's going to show you, these are all the different apps that are included within your Microsoft 365 subscription. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so they get access to all of those with the Microsoft 365.
They do.
Correct. All right. I just wanted to make sure before I answered them myself. I knew you would know better. That's why you're the guru.
Yep. All right, so let's take a look. Does anyone have any other questions about OneDrive? Make sense?
I don't see anything else in here yet. If I get another one, I'll let you know.
Sounds good. All right, so if you would click on your SharePoint icon from the office.com page, you're going to see that you can either create a team site or you can also create a communication site. So a team site, that's going to use Microsoft Teams. So that is actually going to set up your team, and I will show that once we get done talking about SharePoint. But basically, that's a nice way that you are able to share files. You can share screens within your team. You can have a team meeting. Once you get everyone invited, get things set up, you can also chat back and forth. So it's kind of like, oh, you know, this is something that our project team needs to know, but maybe it's not urgent, so you don't need to have a meeting. You can do that and set it up that way. And then a communication site, on the other hand, so that is going to be a little bit more of like a news site. That's something that you can put any company information on. You can set up multiple communication sites. So if you have, maybe you have one for your sales department, one for engineering, and maybe just the stuff that is pertinent to them, maybe some of the different resources that they use. So I just created a demo landing site. And again, I mean, it looks very much like a website. You can go through and you can customize this. They have templates built out. So you can go in and you can edit all the different web parts. So the web parts are just going to be like the different sections of the site. So if you go into edit mode, here you can see I can start to dig in and kind of add different links and things like that. So, but again, as you like pull up the different templates and things like that. So if I would click on this, learn more about your communication site when the site's actually published, that would take me out to a Microsoft page that explains a little bit more about what the communication site is used for. So for this demo, I just put our company photo on here. I'm going to republish this. And then we have like the different boxes up here. So if you want, like I said, you can put commonly used links, different resources that you guys use. If you want to put your website on here, if you want to put your office products, you can put all your different employees and what they do, all your different holidays that you get time off of work, you can put those on here. And then any company announcements or things like that that you want to put out here. And then it'll also show the last time that the page was updated. So you can do all kinds of different things. If you want to put videos and those kinds of things out here, you can do that too. So very, very easy to use. So again, just go to edit. And let's see, like if I want to edit this web part, if I want to change it a little bit, once I click into here, I can go through and I can customize this to however I want it to look. So if I want to change the layout of it, I can do that. If I want it to be different colors, all those kinds of things, all those different options are available. And this is something too, like if you're like, oh, that's really cool, I'd really like to have that, but you don't want to spend the time building it yourself, we are more than happy to do this for you. So if we do your Microsoft administration, this is something that's included in your package. So we are more than happy to set this up for you. So just let us know what you want and we're happy to build it. This is really fun to do. I think it's really fun to do anyway. So the next part that I want to talk about with SharePoint is the documents. So you have a couple different options. So you can sync your SharePoint documents with your OneDrive. All you have to do is just go to the sync button up at the top, and that will sync all of the files, or you can go through and you can specify which ones you want to sync it with. You also have the option of sharing. So I think everyone's kind of used to seeing the share option from Microsoft. Just go in here and you can say who you want to have access. If it's someone outside of your organization, just go to specific people, click apply, and then just type in their email address. And then you can also send the message directly from here. So whatever you want to tell them, or if you have an email drafted up in your Outlook and you just need the link to that specific file, you can do this copy link. Oops, sorry. Let me put Amy in here. And copy link. It's creating that shareable link, and it's got that really nasty link on it, but that will work. So hit copy, and then I'm able to drop it directly into an email. So you can even, with your Microsoft account, you can even create documents directly in your SharePoint site. So, or within your document library. So if you want, you can click on Word doc or Word document. And Amy, I am going to share this with you and we can both get in here. So there, I just sent Amy the link. She is going to get an email. And as you can see, the online version of Word has all the different tabs and stuff that you're used to working with directly in the desktop app. So this is really handy to have. You can also open it directly in the app too if you want. If you just click that little editing button and you can put that you want to open in the desktop app and open it that way too, whichever way you want to do it. Amy, did it send to you? Did you receive it?
Not yet.
Okay.
But I also have like 8 million things open right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're okay.
We can always come back to that. That's not a big deal.
That's okay. I will come back to it.
So we'll just go back to our document. So once Amy gets in there, we'll go back to showing you what it looks like when you're sharing. But
Guess
if you
what?
go back
What
to your
happened?
document library, here are all your different options of what you can do with this file. So if you need to move it around, if you need to download it so that you have access, let's say that you have to catch a plane or something and you want to be able to edit the document while you're in flight, you can do that. That'll download it. And then once you're done, you can save it back up to your SharePoint site.
I am back in.
You're in. So here
It
you can see,
I wasn't, it came on.
so here you can see Amy is in the document. So she's blue, she's got a blue circle around her. And here it's got the little blue status over here. So, and she's letting us know that she's in here. So if you have some big lengthy document that you're trying to update, this is really nice to have, especially if you need to get it out in the door in a hurry. And same is true if you're using the desktop app, it'll also show that Amy is in there. And like I said, you can share with as many people as you want or people outside of your organization. So here we can see Amy's cruising right along, working on her document. So any questions on SharePoint? I should note too, so if you want, you can add your website or different sites that you guys might use if you use different sites frequently. If you go to this My Sites button over here, here are all the different SharePoint sites that I have access to. And I had also added in our T-Tech-T website. So it takes us directly to our website, to our company website, so we can go out here if we need to. If we want to see what webinar is coming up next, we can do that.
On this, we are able to share this with people outside of our agents or organization as well, correct?
Yes, you can from SharePoint.
Okay, but they have to have the specific exact information. We have to have given them permission and all of that, correct?
Yes, yeah. So there is an admin center built within Microsoft. So you have to have all the different permissions and those kinds of things set up. So you have to have like guest roles and allow guests in to get to your SharePoint site.
Perfect. I knew the answer to that one, but again, I wanted to ask before
Perfect.
before I gave the answer to that one. The only reason I knew the answer to that one is because we do some work with folks on websites, and I help do work on those websites, and so that's how I communicate sometimes with some folks too. If they have information or if we want to share a document out like this, it makes it nice and easy to collaborate directly instead of having to go, back and forth, like she said before, with the save a file, resend it, which version am I on, all that good stuff.
For sure. And that's where it ties into Teams nicely. So nice transition. Amy, we can talk about Teams now. So as Amy mentioned, we typically set up a Teams channel. All you have to do is go down to join or create a team. And here you can do create team. And I like to build them from scratch. You can make it private, you can make it public. We're gonna make ours private. You give it a name. Whoops, not name. And we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for our team name. If you want to, you can give it a description so people know what they're looking at. We're going to do create. Teams does some magic, says nice work. And here we can add in anybody that we want. So if you have people within your Azure Active Directory, you can just type in their name. Otherwise, if you need to add people from outside of your organization, again, make sure that they have access. Make sure that you enable people outside of your organization within your admin center, or if we manage it for you, just let us know that they need access and we can set that up for you. So I can click on add. Now you can see Amy's been added as a member. So the other option is to be an owner, but as a member, she can share and everything like that just fine. So if we do new conversation, so now I'm starting that chat. So if you haven't seen Teams before, it is a really nice way to be able to have those instant messages. You can also do meetings. So if you go over here to the meet button, I could hit this button and instantly have a meeting with Amy. So, which is tricky because if you have multiple people within this Teams channel, they're all going to have their teams ringing at once if you click on the meet but you are also able to schedule it out. So if you do the schedule a meeting button, that's going to bring up, this should look familiar if you use Outlook, it'll bring up the same kind of format where you can give your meeting a name, add your attendees, when you want the meeting to take place, if you want it to repeat. You can also host it within your team's channel, which is really nice, so that if you have someone on your project team that's not able to attend the meeting, or if you just need to go back and listen to the conversation from that day, you can go back and listen to the recording within that specific channel. So I'll show you that when we back out of here in just a second. You can also do add a location and then any details for the meeting. So the location, you don't have to put anything in here if it's just going to be within Teams. You also have access to the scheduling assistant. So as you add your required attendees, it'll show if they're available or if they have busy time or out of the office or whatever it might be at that time. So, and here you can see too, it's real easy to be able to add more people, or if you want to be able to create more channels, that would just add, by default, it gives you the general, or you can also go through and you can add all the different teams underneath that channel. You also have the option if you want to go to the open the FAQ. So if you want to go see the frequently asked questions and maybe do a little bit of training, or if you have questions about it, you can do that. Here you can see too that Amy gave me a thumbs up. So if you want to like something, you can do that. So if you go over here, anytime that you go over to the right side of the text box, it'll give you these options. So you have a thumbs up, a love, laugh, surprised, sad, angry, or you also have more options. So I want to point out too, let's see, I want to point out too that Amy was able to share a file with me. So this is what it would look like. So I can open the file directly from here and it's going to open it using Excel, which is really nice to have. Or if I need to download it for whatever reason, you know, maybe if I was getting ready for a meeting and needed that file to come with me, I can just download it directly from here. Also, if you want to just open it and keep it within Teams, or if you want to do it from the desktop app or using the online version, you can do that. If you want to, you can also set a default. Let's see, one of my favorite things too is the GIFs. So I always like to try and keep people a little bit entertained. So you can go in here and, you know, kind of look up whatever you want, type in some keywords, and it'll bring up just all kinds of different GIFs for you. Here you can see too that it's got the attachments. So if you click on attach, that's going to bring up all your different options. If you want to go to OneDrive or upload from your computer, that's going to bring up your file explorer. Or if you need to grab it maybe from a different team and channel, you can do that too. Sorry, I should quit closing that. If you want to, you can also format how your instant message is sent out. So if you want to make it bold, or if you need to write a paragraph or something like that, use some indents, you can do that all within Teams. So you have plenty of formatting options. It also says, like, if you need it to be kind of just a one-way direct information, you can set it so that people can't reply to it, and it's just like, here's an announcement, like, so you can use that too. Let's see, there's stickers, stream if anybody uses stream. Viva is also tied in here, so we'll probably have another webinar on Viva and we can talk about all these different connections. I know we've done one before. So, and Viva's really getting warmed up now. Basically, Viva is kind of their new employee, I don't want to say improvement, but kind of just a nice way for people to be able to learn all the different Microsoft products and kind of like improve people's efficiency and things like that. You can build forums directly in here. So if you guys are having like a group lunch or something like that, and you want to know like who's able to attend and what maybe favorite foods or something like that, you can use a forum. Let's see. So you can also add in different, Poly is a polling app, but you can also add in different apps here as well. So for Amy's shared file, if you go up here to files, that's going to show, here's our SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams. So if you want to be able to share files back and forth, you can click on the upload button, And if you drop this down, that's going to bring up your file explorer. You can also sync these. That's going to sync them down to your OneDrive. If you want to open it in SharePoint, real easy to click that button, and now you can see how Microsoft is willing to help you start designing your site. So here you can go browse templates, and here you can see, just to get you started, like here are all your different template formats. So like I said, very easy to use, project management. So if you want, you can use this template. All you have to do then is just plug in your information. If you want to change some of these pictures or things like that, you can do that. So here you can see too, I have a couple notifications. So you have a few different options too for your Teams notifications. So you can do like these little red buttons, or if you want like the little box on the side like email does, you can do that too. If you go over to your profile and manage account and go to notifications, here are all the different options of what you have for chats, calls, Teams, notifications, things like that. If you have questions about setting up, like if you get a new headset or something like that and you want to see if it's showing up, Teams should auto detect it, but you can also go in here, just make a test call, make sure it's working correctly and get things adjusted. You also, if you have different webcams or things like that, you can go into your settings and go to devices and select your camera from there. Let's see. If you want, you can also, if you don't like having like the bright white, you can make it dark. You can have high contrast if it's kind of hard on your eyes to look at the bright white screen. I think it's that way by default for everybody. Then you also have the option when you want Teams to get started. By default, it automatically launches when Windows does. So if you use a calendar, that is going to sync up with your Outlook calendar. That'll be the same. So yeah, Amy, is there anything else you can think of for Teams?
I don't think so. I think you've gone over all the basics. It's pretty user friendly, pretty easy to get used to. Personally, I think it's really nice. It's something I utilize very regularly, pretty much all day throughout my work day. And what I was just telling Katie about before this is, 99.9% of my job is by myself in front of a computer, which is totally fine and means I can work from anywhere. But I also can work from anywhere because of Teams and because of this SharePoint and all this, because I get to then put my information in there or talk to people back and forth through there, and then we can collaborate right on the spot. So that's been fantastic.
Perfect. All right. Any other questions?
I don't think so. I think we are good to go.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Thank you for viewing this episode in our series. To learn more about our next presentation, visit www.tomtechtoday.com/training webinar. We look forward to seeing you there.